Okay, so today we are going to discuss about Helm. So in the last session, we basically, we had deployed the application. Our application has two things, like one is deployment and another one is service, right? Now these two resources, we mentioned those two resources in two different YAML files, and to deploy them both, we executed basically two commands: kubectl apply -f and the path of the YAML file. This thing we did for two files to deploy the two resources. Now consider that your application deployment has hundreds of files. Now if you want to deploy that application, executing this kubectl apply command for 100 times is not a it's not a user-friendly solution. Now what we can do to make our deployment easy? Okay, so now let's discuss an analogy here, that you have a Java application, and a Java application, let's say you have a single .java file. So what you will do is, like, you will compile that .java file, you will get the .class file created, and that single file you will say run your application. Okay, this is fine when you have a single file, or let's say you have 2-3 Java files. But if your application contains hundreds of Java files, then it's not handy to like compile those 100 Java files, get the 100 class files, and then individually you cannot just put it into the class path of your application and execute your application. Or let's say you want to share share those 100 class files to fellow developers, then it's not handy to share them these 100 class files as individual files. So what you would choose to do, you will create a jar file, you will create a package, right? A jar file, a package containing all those 100 class files, and then that particular jar file you will share, or that particular jar file you will add it into the class file, class path, instead of adding those 100 class files individually into the class path, right? Similarly, in Kubernetes, if you want to package your deployment files, okay, you can use Helm. So Helm is a package manager, something like jar. Jar is a package creator or a package manager for Java, wherein you can club together multiple class files and you can create a package of them, a single jar file. Similarly, here in Kubernetes deployments, we can create a package of our deployment with the help of Helm. Okay, so Helm is that package. So now I have shared these commands with you, Rameshri. You need to execute these commands on a EC2 instance of our kubectl, where you have a kubectl, right? There you have to execute these commands. Okay, so you can take the first one. If you want me to number the commands so that you would be able to understand, just a minute, I'll do that for you. Just a minute. So this is first, this is second, and just a minute, I'm doing that. This is third, and this is fourth. Yeah, I have sent you those 4 commands, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to just get the first one first.
Yeah.
I'm also putting them into a Word document.
Yeah. In the kubectl
Yes.
machine.
Yes. We don't need anything on this other machine actually,
Yeah.
where we have the cluster.
I am actually doing everything one by one.
Yeah. One by one only you have to do. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yes. It's pretty simple now. Now, creating or deploying an application is pretty simple with this help. Yes, let's run this. Correct. Now just clear the screen. CLEAR. Let's clear the screen. And let's check if the Helm is installed properly or not. Helm space dash version. Enter. Correct. So you have the Helm installed. Perfect. Just a minute. Dash dash. Just check with dash dash version. Up arrow and Helm space dash dash version. Okay, it is Helm space dash V. I am not sure what is the exact command to check the version. Single dash V. Okay, but okay, let's do Helm and enter. Just check with this Helm and enter. Correct. So you have the Helm installed. That's fine. Okay, now what we will do is we will create a package. And in that package, we will put those two YAML files which we have of our application, and then we would be able to deploy and deploy our application using the Helm. Now, just let's check if we already have our deployment running kubectl, and let's check kubectl quads. Our deployment is currently running. Let's undeploy this first. Let's do now. If you see now, in order to undeploy our deployment, we need to execute kubectl delete for every YAML file we have for every resource, right? So kubectl delete. Let's type kubectl delete space -f. And then space the name of our nginx YAML file, nginx.yaml. Just type nginx and tab. Okay, it is not auto completing the name. Okay, nginx.yaml. Enter. Correct. So the deployment is deleted. Now just do ls space -lrt. I want to check the name of that service YAML. ls space -lrt. Enter. Correct. Now let's do kubectl delete -f and the name of the service YAML. kubectl delete nginx-service.yaml. nginx-service.yaml. Correct. Enter. Now here deployment and undeployment is not very easy here, right? When we don't use Helm, please understand this. If you have hundreds of files, then hundred of times you have to execute kubectl apply to deploy, and hundred of times you have to execute delete to undeploy that application. Now Helm makes our life very easy. Now let's see. Now let's create a package of the Helm. So for that we have a command called Helm. Just a minute, I'm just checking out the command. Helm create. Correct. And with the name. Now let's execute one command. Helm space create space NGINX. Let's give some name to our chart. This is called a chart. NGINX, enter. Correct. So it has created the NGINX. Let's do ls space -lrt. Correct. Do you see the directory NGINX created, which is listed at the end?
Yeah.
Okay, now this is a directory, a chart directory. It is called as what it is? It is a chart. So let's go inside this directory. cd space NGINX. ls space -lrt. Correct. Now if you check, there are few files here. Chart.yaml, then values.yaml, templates and charts. These are the folders. Template, charts, these are the folders, and values.yaml and chart.yaml, these are the files. Now let's do cd and go inside the templates. cd space templates. ls space -lrt. Okay, now let's wait. Now this is the folder, the templates folder, where we should have our deployment file. So all your applications deployment files, okay, should be inside this folder. Okay, now we have some template files here which we can delete now. So let's delete everything what we have inside this. Let's do rm space star.yaml. Star, or let's do star.star, star.star, so that it will remove all the files. Enter. Now do ls space -lrt. Now we have only this folder, right? Let's remove this. rm space rf dash rf, rm space dash rf. So this is the command to remove the folder. Tests, tests. Correct. So our templates folder is clean now, right? Now what we need to do is we need to copy our YAML files, our deployment and service YAML files in this templates folder. Okay. Now let's do that. Let's go back to our previous directory, cd space .. Or just hold on for a second. Can you do pwd? Pwd, that is, yeah, pwd. Enter. So pwd is the command to check your working directory. So we are currently inside our nginx templates folder, right? And our YAML files are inside home Ubuntu folder. So let's do a copy command from here itself. Let's run the copy command cp. Let's run the copy command cp. Now let's give the path of our nginx files /home /ubuntu /star.yaml. So it will take both of those YAML files, because we have only two YAML files there. Space dot is current directory. So we are copying these YAML files into the current directory that is inside the templates folder. Enter. Perfect. Now do ls space -lrt. Perfect. So we have got our YAML files here. Now let's go back to our home directory. cd space /home /ubuntu. Let's go back to our home directory, and from there we will execute a command. Enter. Okay, so we are out of the chart directory now, and we are somewhere where we have that chart. ls space -lrt. Just do ls space -lrt. Correct. So now here we are. We have that nginx chart. Inside that chart, hem chart, we have the two YAML files. We have just copied those two YAML files. So those two YAML files are part of our chart now. Now we can install this chart. Okay, when you will install the chart, it will install all the Kubernetes objects which are part of that chart with a single command. Now let's run the command helm space install. Now you can give some name to your deployment. Let's say nginx server. Let's write nginx server. This is the name for your deployment. Space and path of our chart, which is nginx directory. So nginx. Let's type the name of the directory where we have the chart. nginx. Let's type the name. Okay, just hold on for a second now here. Now the command is helm install. So we want to install the chart. So that's why we are saying helm install. Then we are giving some name to our deployment. We can give any name. So we have given nginx server, a name for our deployment, a chart deployment. And then after that we have to specify the folder in which we have our chart. So this nginx folder is what contains all our deployment files in a chart. Now let's do enter.
Can you explain this command once again, Pranada?
Yeah. So we are installing the helm chart. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why command is helm install. So
Yeah.
helm install installs a particular helm chart. Okay. That is the purpose of helm install command. So helm install. Then we can give any name to our helm chart deployment. Okay. So we are deploying an helm chart and that will create a helm chart deployment. So to which we have given the name as nginx server. Some name you have given to your helm chart deployment. And then you are specifying the name of a directory or path of a directory which contains your helm chart. So this nginx folder contains the chart, which the directory structure of which we just had gone through, right? Just few minutes back. So which has got the templates folder, then chart.yaml, values.yaml, and in that templates folder of this directory we have got our deployment YAML files, our nginx deployment YAML and service YAML we have got, right? So we have got the helm chart in this folder nginx, which we are installing now. Understood now?
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
do enter.
So where it will get installed?
Yeah, I'll show you. Let's do enter. Yeah, so do you see it has installed it now? So what happens is when you install the helm chart, this helm chart will submit everything what it contains, like all the YAML files what it contains. It will submit all those YAML files for a deployment to your Kubernetes cluster. So the deployment would be done on your Kubernetes cluster only, the way we had done previously, like when you do kubectl apply -f and the path of the YAML file, that time also your kubectl takes that YAML file and sends it to the cluster where you have that cluster, and that resource gets created for you. Similarly, when you will do helm install, so your kubeconfig, this helm command also reads your kubeconfig file which has got the details of your cluster, and to that cluster it submits all those YAML files which are inside this helm chart for the deployment, and ultimately you will have your all the deployments and services created in your cluster. Now let's do kubectl get pods. Let's check if the deployment is done or not. kubectl get space pods. Enter. Do you see? You have got your pods running now.
Yes.
For this you had to execute kubectl apply -f and nginx YAML file. This you were doing previously with the kubectl apply command. Now do kubectl get svc. Check the service. No, get space SVC. Get space SVC. Yes. Do you see your service is also created? Nginx dash service.
Yeah.
Now for this you were executing another kubectl apply command, right? And then you were giving the path of that nginx service YAML. So previously, in order to deploy these two things, you were executing two kubectl apply commands, which you now are able to deploy with a single Helm install command with the help of Helm chart. Right? Now let's undeploy this. Now I'll tell you how to undeploy. Helm space uninstall. Our previous command was Helm install. Now this command is Helm uninstall. And the name of our Helm deployment. So now let's check what is the name of our Helm deployment. Let's remove that uninstall for a second. Let's remove this uninstall and give list, L-I-S-T, Helm list. Enter. Now, do you see there is a name Nginx server? This is the name which we had given to our deployment. Do you see the first column? Right?
Yeah.
That is the name of your Helm deployment. That's what the name you specified in your Helm install command. So you said Helm install, then you specified the name, and after that you specified the Helm chart directory path, right? So that name which you had given after Helm install, that name you can see here. This is the name of your Helm deployment. Now you have to uninstall this deployment. So the name, the command is Helm space uninstall. Simply take that name, the name which you see there. Yes, take that and paste it after this uninstall word. Correct, and hit enter. This will uninstall. See, it is saying uninstall. Now check your pods. kubectl get pods. Perfect. Now there is nothing, right? Now your entire deployment is cleared. Check kubectl get SVC. Correct. So your service also got removed. Your pods also got removed. Getting my point? So
yes.
This single command now, Helm install will deploy your entire application. If you package it in a Helm chart and you install that Helm chart, so all the resources would be created with a single command. And to undeploy it, you have to execute uninstall command, which will delete all the resources which was deployed as a part of the Helm deployment. Clear so far, Ramesh?
Yeah.
So this is very easy now to achieve, like the deployment, easy deployment now can be achieved with the help of Helm here.